Welcome to episode 8 of the series Finance and the Church. My name is Erin Bender. I'm a ministry consultant for Sacred Stones Ministries, and today we're looking at reporting transparency and reconciliation. In today's session, we'll talk about the stories that can be found in annual reports, the importance of transparency in order to help those stories grow and develop, and the process of reconciling the facts and figures of church finance. We all keep personal financial records in our own way, but we must remember that when we are responsible for the monies of the church, that we are holding a sacred trust for each donor to continue with ministries to the world. Annual reports are essential for the church to clearly see their story and the path of their ministries in individual churches and the conference. From tithing and gifting to attendance, baptisms, church vision, testimonies, and many other things, your annual report can effectively summarize where you've been as a congregation and where the Spirit is leading you now. When viewing annual reports, you can clearly see the heart of the church. And in seeing the heart, so too do annual reports allow us to clearly see the ministry path of our local churches. For example, if attendance is consistent but not growing, then perhaps the church's next step is to focus on evangelism. If projects in the church consistently exceed what was budgeted, then perhaps it's time to step back and focus on ministries of service and justice. Of course, these are decisions for the whole church to make, but the annual report of the treasurer is essential to the decision-making of the church. Transparency is also essential to the job of the treasurer. As treasurer, you hold the key to securing accurate records and being transparent with the finance team and the congregation. All facts and figures should be shared with anyone who asks, reserving, of course, individual names and donations as a matter of confidentiality. If you have any doubts, check with your financial team or the pastor for clarification. The most important thing to remember is that the money of the church coffers is the money of the church, not of a particular person or group. As a treasurer, you should expect that when parishioners look at the annual report, these are the key factors that they are looking at. How much money was donated to your local church by parishioners and guests? How much was donated to other charities and organizations? How much money did the church profit from its extra businesses like coffee shops, cafes, thrift stores, bookstores, etc.? How much money is spent on the church's staff, facilities, missions, ministries, and administration? How much is the pastor's salary and other salaries of church leadership positions? How much money did the church bring in from fundraisers and other forms of income besides donations and tithing? And how was that money spent? How much money your church made at a fundraiser is irrelevant if you don't get to see exactly where the money went. A complete set of financial statements for a nonprofit organization generally includes the following: a statement of financial position, or a balance sheet, which includes assets, liabilities, and net assets, and a statement of activities, or the income statement, which shows income, including contributions and fundraisers, as well as expenses. Financial statements benefit your church in 3 areas: providing assurance, budget planning, and reconciliation. Donors want to know where their money goes. Providing an accurate statement of accounting for donations not only gives the donor assurance that their contributions are being used prudently, but it also protects your church by demonstrating how and where the funds are used. Because the financial statement is a reflection of financial decisions, then if there are budgetary discrepancies, they can be identified and corrected. This evaluation process helps a church become financially healthy, providing a stable foundation for the ministry they have been called to do. This might even include borrowing money for a building project or a new piano. Whatever it is, it's better to know where all your monies have been spent and what the trend in giving is for your local church.
Another way in which financial statements benefit your church is by providing more accurate budget planning on a timely basis.
As you project income and expenses for the new year, reviewing past financial statements can give you a good idea of what giving might look like going forward. By understanding your current financial position, you're better able to plan for the future. For example, if you want to fund a new ministry initiative, the information provided by the statements can help you decide when the best time to do so might be and how it might be funded.
A third way financial statements benefit the church is by allowing for clear communication with the congregation through reconciliation of financial records. Although this may seem like an unimportant task, it is vital in maintaining the fiduciary fidelity of the church treasurer to the management of God's gifts.
Reconciliation, in the financial sense, is simply an accounting process that compares two sets of records to check that figures are correct and in agreement. Account reconciliation is particularly useful for explaining the difference between two financial records or account balances. Budget reconciliation is considered complete when transactions have been reviewed and matched, errors have been detected and resolved, and any corrections that were initiated have been verified as complete. We recommend that each church document their reconciliation policies and procedures. To be accurate with your accounting, it is best to reconcile your bookkeeping with bank statements on a monthly basis. Bank statements should be compared to the bookkeeping system on a monthly basis by the finance team. Standard reports usually include the income and expense versus budget, which shows how much you received or spent versus how much you planned, and the balance sheet, which shows your bank accounts and any designated funds you have. The finance team should also decide which reports or what information it will share with the congregation. Again, transparency is key when providing information to your congregation, as long as you maintain the confidentiality of specific donors and donations.
Before we leave, discuss these questions with your group. Are your annual reports clear and concise? Does your church's annual report bring about excitement for your church planning? What is the most important value of your church that is reflected in your budget? Who reviews the annual reports in your church? Have your church's goals changed over recent years? Has there been an annual report that definitely reflected your goals in the church?
Thank you for joining us for this session on transparency and reconciliation, and I look forward to seeing you next time.